Floods, storms, rising sea levels. Climate change is already altering the face of our planet.
Climate change is an existential threat, we were told.
We must transition away from fossil fuel.
What do we want? Climate justice! We want it now!
That idea seemed to have won.
Net zero emissions by 2050.
Net zero means stop increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. It's theoretically possible. Some carbon's removed naturally by things like forests, so we could get to net zero by burning much less coal, oil, and natural gas. Governments everywhere pledged they'd do just that.
Make our economy climate neutral by 2050.
700 cities in more than 50 countries have pledged to cut their emissions in half by the end of the decade and reach net zero by 2050.
For a while, it seemed like that might happen. Some European countries claimed to get 60% of their power from renewables.
The country invested billions in developing its solar fleet.
It would have been smarter to spend that money improving their electric grid. They might have avoided their worst blackout in decades.
Stoplights were out, factories closed, total chaos.
It was a wake-up call for the green dream.
The power outages are the starkest illustration of bad electricity policy.
Alex Epstein writes about the need for fossil fuels.
You can avoid power outages with these bad policies. What you can't avoid is scarcity and rationing and poverty.
Poverty because, on average, solar and wind power make electricity more expensive.
Today, Britain has among the highest energy prices in the world.
Germany's economy is weakening. A poor business environment due to high energy prices.
And those high energy prices kill jobs.
Manufacturers have been producing less and cutting more jobs.
On top of that, net zero's push left people more vulnerable to extremes of climate. People die from cold and from heat.
All these places in Europe that can't keep cool in the summer, even though we've had this technology for 100 years called air conditioning.
Most Americans have air conditioning, but only about 20% of European homes have it. So, politicians in Paris blamed America and our air conditioning for their heat wave.
This is just the pure religious nature of the climate catastrophist movement. It has one commandment, which is thou shalt not impact nature.
I support this non-air conditioning world because the earth is burning.
They just think that everything good is a happy climate god and everything bad is a vengeful climate god.
Homeowners in Britain were even forced to tear out air conditioners.
The net zero thing basically means forbid people from using cheap energy.
Why aren't wind and solar enough? The solar panels keep getting cheaper. Batteries last longer.
The electricity grid has to be built around the worst day.
When there's no wind or sunshine.
Without plants like this that can fire up at short notice to fill the gap that renewables can't, the grid simply wouldn't function.
Now some countries are walking back their net zero push.
The new leader embraced the pledge. Today, he retired it.
The National Party has abandoned its target for net zero carbon emissions.
A few politicians even admit
it was quite simply a serious strategic mistake to phase out nuclear energy.
And here in America, I now hear less climate fear-mongering. Even the loudest people have been relatively quiet, even though they once said,
"This is our World War II."
It's very surprising to many people how unserious the climate catastrophists were about net zero. And the way you can see this is what's happened with the rise of AI.
We're in the beginning of a new age, the AI revolution.
Tech companies now report increases in emissions, even though
less than 5 years ago, they were all telling us climate change, existential crisis, gotta go net zero.
Google once said it would
be the first major company in the world to run on carbon-free energy by 2030.
They've since removed that plan.
And now they're begging Congress, can you please get us some more power?
6 years ago, Microsoft's boss said,
by 2030, Microsoft will be carbon negative.
It would be nice for one of these tech executives to say, you know what? I kind of lied and I advocated some policies that screwed over everyone, including myself, and I'm going to change. But nobody has done that. They've just acted like their past self didn't exist.
The leader of America's biggest investment firm said,
All investments are going to be looked through sustainability.
He warned of votes against company directors who didn't pledge significant progress on climate. But now he says,
you cannot have just this intermittent power like wind and solar. The world is going to be short power.
That felt good to hear that. That felt really good.
Bill Gates also changed his tune. He once wrote a book about climate disaster.
Now, let's look at the shift. AI happens. New Trump administration happens. What does Bill Gates write last year?
Measure success on human welfare more than global temperature.
The fact that Bill has taken the new position publicly, to me, is a sign that we're in a much better intellectual environment.
We who were skeptical that climate change was this horrible disaster and we should spend so much getting rid of natural gas, it turns out we were right. But they never acknowledged that.
A lot of people are really into getting vindicated.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I want people to admit
Okay, well, John, you
wrong.
were right. I'm just happy that people have a different opinion now, and in particular for the policy to be better. Because I don't want to discourage that. I'm like, hey, come join the party.
Come join our party. To help us keep reporting on what the mainstream media miss, click that button.